Hello, my friends. How we been? I've been out the past couple weeks, been really busy. Have a baby on the way, and we're planning a really big move. So I'm back. I want to mention before I do this review, I did see a few movies in theaters that I didn't do reviews of, but I want to put it out there. My opinion of them. I saw Spider-Man Far From Home twice. Absolutely go see it. I saw two A24 films that I very much enjoyed, one being Midsummer and the other one being The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I'm telling you, A24, that studio makes just fantastic films. Fantastic. Very keen to cinematography. A lot of them are smaller budget, so they have to really artistically talk, and they do it in both of them. If you guys can see any of those three movies, go do it. All right, let's roll into our Lion King review. Hello, my friends and fellow moviegoers. My name is Eric, and this is my Lion King review. Let's get rolling. So I went into this movie remembering very little, just kind of bits and pieces of the animation growing up. So I kind of went in pretty open-minded, pretty fresh. So the whole time I was watching it, I wasn't really sitting there comparing it to the animation and trying to pick it apart in that sense, but rather just watching a movie that I essentially haven't seen before. It sounds like everyone out there is just really upset that it was so similar to the animation, but when you ask for a live-action adaptation of an animation, I'm also hearing that Mulan is getting a lot of backlash already because it's more original to the Mulan story rather than Disney's adaptation of it. What do we want, guys? Anyway, we follow Simba through his journey. He is the heir to his father's throne, the Pride Lands, but falls into some trouble when his evil uncle goes a little bit crazy on him. Some bad things happen to Simba's dad, and Scar is able to banish Simba from the Pride Lands. Just a heads up before you head into this movie, if you do decide to go see it, it is rated PG and for very good reason. I was very surprised a few times at how brutal some of these scenes were. In the animation, it kind of lets you let your mind put those pieces together. You know, it is a kid's cartoon. In this, it really shows a lot of that brutality. And I would say for some kids, it might be a little bit rough. Or maybe I'm just a wimp. The majority of the cast was definitely fitting for their roles in this movie. James Earl Jones came back again as Mufasa, even though he's 88 years old, still kicking, still sounded great. Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner were Pumbaa and Simba, and you can tell that these dudes definitely recorded together. They were in the studio together. I feel like a lot of it was improv and then they animated over it. I would say they definitely stole a majority of the show. I think Donald Glover and Beyonce were both good in their roles as Simba and Nala individually. When they were on screen together, kind of opposite of Rogen and Eichner, you can tell they recorded separately. The dialogue didn't flow as cohesively as it did with the other character. The Joe Four voiced Scar, and I'm telling you, he was absolutely scary. Maniacal villain. Very cringy the whole time. He's a maniacal little lion. Jon Favreau has made some absolutely great films and television pieces throughout his career, and I think this is another one. Again, I know there's a lot of the hubbub about going beat for beat, but you can tell the direction of this film was clear and concise. It got a little jumbled up into the second act a bit, and that's where I think a lot of that communication with the actors comes in. I mean, it's Hollywood. These people have lives. They can't always, be in the same recording studio at the same time. I think Favreau directed this better than the last few live actions that Disney's pushed out. He made sure to tell a lot of his story through the camera. We see Simba transition into adulthood as he walks through with Pumbaa and Timon, learning from them and growing into, like I said, his adulthood. And they were just gorgeous shots. I mean, there was a few times where I was convinced it was actual reality being shot, not computer generated, but it is. This entire movie is CGI. One gripe I do have is a lot of these animals trying to portray emotions, they're not showing it on their face because it's that realistic. So I feel like that camera needed to kind of move in more often to try to close off distance between the audience and the characters to show a little bit more emotion where it was lacking. Timon and Pumbaa were able to do that a little bit better than, say, Nala and Simba because the actors were in the room contributing together, feeding off one another. So if you aren't getting that same energy from the other voice actors, you got to try to use that camera in a few different ways to tell your story differently. I think the overall flow felt good. It wasn't too long. However, towards the second act, as Simba and Nala are into their adulthood now and essentially reunite, it feels a little bit rushed to get towards the end. I think it needed to be slowed down a little bit there, tell their story after an adventure or two, not just kind of rush it right then and there when they initially meet back up. I enjoyed many of these songs over, again, a lot of the live actions that Disney has had before this. Seth Rogen cannot sing whatsoever, but he takes his charisma and how much effort he was putting into voicing this character into these songs with the assistance of Eichner, and they just absolutely nail it. Glover and Beyonce on screen together, when there was music involved, it sounded really good. They really utilized Beyonce in their non-diegetic sound more than her actually singing, like as a lioness, as Nala. It was more of the background with them like frolicking and not singing at one another. But it still sounded good. And as I kind of mentioned before, a lot of these special effects were just absolutely incredible. I can't imagine the kind of money that went into making this. I mean, completely realistic animals, their movements, their fur, how they interacted with one another. It was incredible attention to detail. I would say the special effects and the visuals are the best part of this film, where it was lacking, again, like I said, into that second act a little bit in its storyline. But overall, I generally enjoyed this movie. I got a lot of laughs from the characters that were designed to make you laugh. I did have a little bit of a problem with our main romance story, but I think it was a pretty entertaining film. So I'm going to go away from the star system a little bit. And I'm just really going to get into telling you whether or not I think you would waste your time spending money to go see a movie in a theater or not, right? That's kind of where we're at. I'm going to watch Eric to see if I should go pay money to go waste 2 hours and spend, $20 to go see a movie. That's what we're trying to determine. Lion King. Go see it. Yes, I would go see it in theaters. If anything, just for the visuals of this movie, I would absolutely go see it. I thank you guys so very much for watching me. Like I said, I apologize for the little break there. I will try to keep up with doing weekly videos. There's a great possibility I will be reviewing The Art of Self-Defense here very soon as well. So please join me for that. And if I don't post that, join me for whatever is after this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell so you know when I'm posting new content. And please, like I said, come join me next time. Thanks, guys.